99 FM, your inspiration station. A very good afternoon to you just joining us. It is the Pulse with Morris, holding you down all the way through to 6 p.m. this evening. Later this evening. Anyway, it is that time of the show we're going to be taking a look at Wealth Talk. And today we have somebody that absolutely needs no introduction, but I'm going to do so nonetheless. I don't even know where to begin. Now, she's an award-winning musician. She is a business. Actually, she said, I am the business. And she's an all-round creative. She is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Who am I speaking about? I'm speaking about Lize Ehlers. I hope I pronounced that one right.
I'm so happy, Morris. I just put out a little Instagram video. I was like, it's not Liz with the frizz, it's Lize Ehlers.
Lize Ehlers. And today's Wealth Talk is, of course, brought to you by Allan Gray Namibia, where we aim at equipping Namibians with the necessary tools to make sound financial decisions. We get to hear from Lize about her own money story and some of her handy tips on how artists can better manage their finances.
Correct.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. We're matching in our puffer jackets. I think
we
got the memo.
It's cold. It's cold. I don't play those things. There are three things that I'm afraid of. Yeah. Snakes, large body of water, and cold and weather. And cold weather. Yeah, those three things. And the worst if they all of them are happening at the same time. Yeah.
That's your horror story.
Yeah,
we just write the script. Brett must do the most here.
Before we get into it, this week Sibo and I we co-host the breakfast show. So there's this thing that we're doing. We always talk about celebrating small victories.
Yes.
Right. As people, we generally inclined to always think big picture and to always want to achieve big goals. There's nothing wrong with that, but we forget the little things. Today, Lize, what are you most grateful for? What victory in your mind do you think is worth noting or sharing with us that you feel that you celebrated today? If not, then we're going to celebrate now. Maybe like this. Please, we need to celebrate.
I actually have so much gratitude standing here, and I think apart from being like when you asked me what is your business, and I said I am the business.
That's it.
I can only be the business, Morris, if I have my health and if I have my beep 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 together.
Yeah.
And as a Namibian, and especially as a Namibian woman entrepreneur, I'm most grateful for celebrating Namibian women entrepreneurs because, apart from my family that's my rock. My family and my health, those two elements, without that, the foundation is not there.
Right.
Because I create from a very personal space. So without those two, it's not a given anyway. But celebrating women in the arts and promoting women in the arts has actually been a fundamental financial investment for me, if I can say it like that. Because another woman business entrepreneur said to me, why are you carrying equipment? You're Lize Ehlers. And the fact is, Lize Ehlers has been carrying equipment for a decade, bro. I've been carrying equipment for a decade, and that's actually how I pay my day-to-day bills, is setting up small sound equipment for smaller events. And those small things are actually what keeps the bigger picture floating.
That's say. So this is airhorn worthy. Let's see if... Wait, I can't, it's not... Okay, there we go. So, wow, that was actually quite profound. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So we're here to talk about money and how you dealing with money, how you navigating this whole very intricate thing called life when you deliver.
Yes.
So, as kids, we grow up learning lessons about money from either our parents or those that are around us.
Yes.
Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. We pick up those habits and we pick up those lessons. You yourself, I understand that you do have children, but it's about you, just specifically you.
Yeah.
What is your money story? What are the lessons you picked up about money as a child, and how did that essentially shape your perspective or how you deal with money today?
I learned that you literally only get as much back as you give out. So I'm not talking about your wild splurge at whatever favorite boutique. I'm literally talking about, are you investing into your education? Are you literally putting some money aside? Because honestly speaking, Morris, I learned that if you don't save a bit of money, things will get really tough. And when I had to dig into my savings, when Corona started last year, and that was our boat, it was a very bittersweet moment. Yes, thank you, I had some savings, but you know what, after that. So it just teaches us to start all over again. And no matter how big you think you are, or how well established you think you may have, gotten yourself in the industry, you will always find ways of regrouping, restarting, and having savings is your number one way of starting. It's the starting point, because without that little egg, you can feel very, disorientated. And
would you say that at what point did you start learning to start to saving? I mean,
as a child.
As a child, yeah?
As a child, piggy bank.
Yeah.
It's like just to not give it all away, and to save a little bit, so that you don't have to look into somebody else's eyes and ask for something, where you can put a $5 away and you can say, I have that $5, and if I need it, I will use it. But for now, I don't need to use it or spend it on something frivolous, but rather invest it, put it in something that can maybe even make it grow, even as a child, and that's why I'm so against gambling. I'm so sorry, gambling houses. But it's something you look at as a child, and then you're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I rather want to be saving and growing my money. So I think we should teach our children.
You speak a lot about your children, and the passion comes through. What are some of the habits that you are trying to instill in your children regarding money and savings and just financial lessons?
Basically, first to know, how do I make some? How do I make money with what I have, just with the body that I have? What skills can I offer? And I know it's a very big burden almost to put on my children, but I need to teach them from an early age, because I believe in the youth. Today is Youth Day, celebrating the Soweto uprising, or not celebrating, but commemorating. And we're saying, what are we instilling in our youth? And I'm instilling in my two little ones, 12 and 13-year-olds, Zapa and Lua, is that what are your skills that you love to invest your time in, and maybe invest a little bit of education in, that can actually put some money in your bank account. And they have their small bank accounts, because that's the only way I can educate, through leading by example.
Yeah, of course. So this is a bit of an interesting question. Would you consider yourself a financially stable, or not stable, but a financially healthy person? Like, I mean, you did perhaps allude to it a bit earlier, but it just candidly speaking, you say, look, today, I'm right.
Hey,
I'm right.
With the coronavirus. It messed up my things.
Yeah,
I was really on a roll, doing so many different things, Morris. As a blue economist, I have at least 5 different incomes.
Look at you.
Yay! And it's not about being a script writer we were talking about ghost writers. I'm a ghost writer.
Wow.
And being a singer-songwriter or a director. But I just learned a new skill of DJing during lockdown.
Hey!
DJ,
when you have a gig, let me know.
DJ Lize Ehlers. No, but true.
All right.
So I did have my things together, but COVID really played with the industry. Not played, but disabled almost. So my financials, I think, are as in disarray as the next artist's bank account.
You mentioned you have different revenue streams.
Yeah.
Firstly, just briefly, what was the rationale behind that? At what point did you decide, you know what, I can do A, B, C, and D, and F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, the whole alphabet, basically.
Yes.
And why is it so important to develop different revenue streams?
Learning from past mistakes.
Right.
Why do I need to make the same mistakes twice? Why do I need to put all my eggs in one basket?
Right.
Am I not going to learn by living? So that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what my husband, who is my rock and my main support system, not only emotionally, but we've gone through a life together, financially, making decisions. How can we invest in something that will actually make money for us in the future again?
Yeah.
So it's been tough to make tough financial decisions, but we have to make tough financial decisions.
Now, you mentioned being an artist, and also just the arts and the creative space in general, which has been hard hit by the pandemic. I mean, even now with the restrictions, there's very little performance spaces or performance opportunities for those that are participating in the arts. But from a personal perspective,
yes,
but also as somebody that uses your platform as a conduit to really encourage and develop the creative spaces. Yeah. How has the COVID-19 pandemic affected not only your finances, but the whole financial component to the arts?
It has, like I said, disabled and almost embarrassed everything we've done, because if we put in so much work to build a foundation up, because I feel the creative or the orange economy was in such a juicy state right before COVID, and then it sort of just it was squeezed like an orange, and now we're just here all flaccid and strange. Yeah. So what I did, and the advice that I can then lend to another person, especially in the arts industry, is I literally applied for every $1,000 grant, write a poem, write a song. I did not sleep during COVID, the first hit. Yeah. And that's what I encourage my peers to do. Don't sleep with all your worries, because you can anyway not sleep because you're so stressed
worried, so stressed.
How you're going to buy food tomorrow. So apply, and like the 99 FM slogan is, do the work. Do the work. Yeah. Sit down and write. Sit down. Don't just have exponential anxiety. Turn it into some money.
Turn it into some money. Those are very, very wise words there. Look, we are running out of time, but what are some of the financial decisions and as well as actions that you have committed to moving forward to essentially recover from the negative and precarious position that not only you but many people, including myself, have find ourselves in?
Patience, Morris. I think that sort of trait will guide you and will lend us a lot of help. Is patience and diligence with working on ourselves, because I posted, we can't manage other people's energies, we can't manage other people's decisions, but we can manage ourselves.
100%.
We can manage what we do with our time, we can manage what we do with the little health that we have. So just, if you can just build a product, or as an artist, what do? You create from your suffering, you create from your anxiety, but you need to turn that art into moolah. Yeah. It can't just sit there.
Lastly, Lize, what advice would you give fellow creatives in terms of managing their money? Look, you talk a lot about how to make the money. Yeah. But then once I have that money, then what? How do I put myself in a position where the money can either grow, or I can reinvest in my craft, or just do so in a manageable, sustainable way moving forward?
So it's, again, building small foundations, like if you can invest in some equipment that you can hire out, or
be a DJ like you.
Yeah, or learn a new skill. Or if you start, people who still do small things at church or whatever, if you can offer your drum kit for a standard rate and say, please, the gemeenskap, just $10 per person. Right. This kit has to pay itself off, and then it has to pay me. So I'm not saying squeeze the little opportunities that are out there, but see what you can do with what you have. Right. It's like people telling me, why are you still driving the same car after 10 years? Right. My dear, I've been servicing the car.
And it works.
It works.
Yes.
Why? So my thing is, I don't like a showy, offy type of behavior. Right. It's cool and fine to have your moments when you're shooting your music video, have the liquor, catering, treat your artists with respect, but I'm going to drive my car and service my car until it falls into pieces. Right. Touch wood, don't leave me now, baby. But that is part of my financial stability, is the fact that I'm not buying cars to show off to Namibian press. And the fact that I'm making little decisions for myself. And that saved me, honestly. It's just a bit of humility that will help your finances grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Lize, we are out of time. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm trying to also get in the creative space in my own capacity, but we'll see how that goes. But thank you so much for joining us and for the tips, and wishing you all the best.
Looking forward to everything you're creating, and it was fun to chat.
And I think it's befitting that we just end this discussion with a song by you. It's called "Just Show Up." Show up for yourself. Show up. Every day, all day, whatever you do is just show up. Lize, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.